Well, if you're not quite sure what you're looking at here, you need to get excited because I've been looking forward to reviewing this lure all season. It's probably spent the most time of any lure on my rod chasing jacks this season for good reason. It's been catching heaps of fish. That's obviously a brand spanker that I've just bought. This is the one that's been on the end of my line and it's been just destroyed by mangrove jack, trevally, cod, big flathead, that sort of thing. There's proof that they're going to work really well. Let's talk about why. Let's have a look at its features. You can see the raised gill plate, this scale pattern, and then this eye that's a little bit different to the other eyes that you're going to see on a lure. And then the actual shape of the lure itself, it's got these very defined edges and corners, and that just means that the way that it swims is very disciplined through the water, and the turbulence it throws out is really strong. It's really repeatable underwater, and you can see just in that very hydrodynamic shape, it gets down to about 3 to 4 meters depending on how heavy the line is you're fishing with, but it gets down quite easily. And it's a suspending lure, so you're not fighting it all the way down. It's just a treat to fish with this thing, and I've been just doing really well, mainly with mangrove jack on it. I've got some photos here of some of the fish I've been taking on it. It's got a great pattern to it, and just that external foil finish is to die for. There's a whole heap of different colours, some awesome colour ranges you should check out on their website. But yeah, that's the superficial design. The internal construction of it, it's been designed by a bloke, Masahiro Adachi from Japan, and he spent a lot of time trying to get the balance of this thing perfect and the construction really strong. So he's got harder walls on the actual lure itself, and then a chamber that's like a cross framing through the middle, which I think you can pick up. You can sort of just see some of the framing plastic that goes through the middle of it just to make sure that it's a little bit more hardy. Yeah, it's held up to the conditions. I've flogged this thing all summer long and it's been really good for me. Raised gill plate, just with the shine as well, it picks it up really, really well in the water. And then this bib here that's been reinforced, I've bashed this one about. You can see the damage that I've put this one into a heap of rock bars, and that's how I've been fishing it really aggressively into rock bars, and it's held up pretty well. Still swims perfect every time. So that's some of the construction. It's got these balls in here. We need to talk about how it works, because the balls in here have a magnet at the front that pull the balls to the front of the lure when you're fishing it, and that gives it its perfect suspension. But when you throw it, obviously with that force as you're whipping the lure through the air, the balls go to the back of the lure and leave the magnet and then fire this thing like a bullet through the air, and it's very true, really, really true through the air and then landing. So if you're after casting accuracy, this is something that's going to do it for you. And then that balance, as you let it stall in the water, it balances out just brilliantly, and it's a really slow balance from its diving point, and then it just sort of turns and sits like that perfectly for you in the water, which a lot of the time that's when I've been getting my fish, just on that stall. So that's some of the internals. It's also got some weighting underneath here that's just lodged in there, like a centre gravity weight system, and that just helps with its repeatability through the water and that sort of thing. It's very disciplined. You can rip this thing, it's like a rip bait, you can work it really aggressively and it just stays true and stays down there. I saw it at the After Trade show this year. I was walking through some of the stalls, and one of the reps saw me staring at it, and he actually gave me his, which is this one here. That was Marty that gave me this one. God, I've just been hanging to do this review because it's probably been, it has been the best lure for me this summer with mangrove jack. We'll just talk about the price. I think it was about $24 I got this one for. They're not easy to find. That's the packet that they come in. They're by Duo, reelless, and it's a jerkbait 100DR. So that's what you're after in the shops. And you can see some of the specs there, over 15 grams. And it's the half mirror IU is the colour that I've been using. And on the back you can, that gives you a better idea about what's going on the inside. You can see that magnet there that just holds it to the front, all the framing through there, and then the copper weight system underneath. So yeah, there's a lot of time and a lot of thought gone into the construction of this thing. If you're paying $24 for a lure, you're going to expect something. This has definitely got design features that are just going to make it work a little bit more repeatably. I reckon do the trick a little bit more than your cheaper lures. So the way that it settles, that turbulence that it throws out, the terminals are nice and strong, and the castability, the retrieve speed, you can go really high like I was saying, and that cadence with it's got a really deep tungsten sound to it. There's actually a dual sound. There's a little bead at the top here near the head, and then it's got those 3 tungsten bearings in there that give you that deep vibration through the water. So that's the Duo Realus 100 DR. It comes in a shallow version, 110 and a 120 as well. I might review those separately a little bit later on, but this thing's just been such a great lure for me this summer. So if you're chasing mangrove jack or barra here in Australia, or if you're after bass overseas, you need to get your hands on one of these things because they're a treat to use. Really easy to wind in and get down deep, and then stalling it, they just sit perfectly in the water. This is one of the lures that features in my DVD as well, and it catches a couple of really big mangrove jack. If you haven't seen my DVD, it's in there, how I like to use it. And I think I've got a short video at the end here. It's a good one too. Me just bringing in a nice big jack on the end of one of these things.
He's a big one, mate.
Really?
Yeah, he's a great.
Who's netting, me or you?
I reckon you should. I'm dropping the drag a little bit because I don't want to pull the hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a beautiful big fish. Oh.
Wow, probably one of the bigger ones I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, huge extent. Look at that, mate. He's right up into that high 50s.
Yes, bro.
Wow. Made it worth it coming out in the rain, didn't it? See that? Have a look. He's probably in the high 50s. We'll measure it, but have a look. Because this monster's just climbed all over my deep running Realus 100. He's 56. And for like you hope the big jacks do. Took me back into the bank 3 times and then didn't want to get in the boat, but it's made it all worth it.